The whole thing started in 2015, mainly because we wanted to have a party for the industry. Because at the end of the year, there's always events going on. We have Mets, Pinmar Golf, Monaco Yacht Show, and all of those. At the end of the year, there's always something happening. There was three of us were sitting in a pub in January in 2015 and thought, when are we going to catch up with everybody? And so we decided to have a party. And we thought that we would get 50 people each. So we went and approached Southampton Football Club. We then contacted Mr. Hickling and Dave Goldie to join us. The other two were Vanessa Hodgson and Kerry Pettit, and decided that the five of us could easily organise a party. Within about 3 weeks, we had 300 people. Then we had our party, and we raised funds for Sale for Cancer, which was very rewarding. And the next morning I woke up, bought 4 domain names for Superyacht Charities: Superyacht Charity Ball, Superyacht Charity Party, Charity Ball, Charity Party, and decided to go ahead that I wanted to put together a charity. Sat down with the 4 other people that I thought would come along, and Mr. Hickling being one of them, and Dave Goldie and Kerry Pettit and Vanessa Hodgson as well. And then we started organising the event for 2016, decided that we would create a charity, formalise it all. And we just got our registration about 4 days before we held our 2016 event. So officially it was 2016, but in 2015 was our first kind of party and raising some money. I think we made about £27,000 in the first year, and then it's gone on from there. Obviously, we're raising funds for smaller charities that don't get government funding and don't pay people sitting in their offices, doing very little. You have to prove that 90% of what you receive from us goes to whatever it is you're supporting. And it's about looking after the little charities, and hopefully they'll grow, like Sale for Cancer grew, Turn to Starboard grew to an extent that they don't need us anymore. But it's also about making it affordable for the industry, the smaller players in the industry. So the ball is priced in a way that lots of small companies in the area can invite guests and come along and have an amazing night, with the charitable side of it being an add-on. It's just that over the last few years it is now becoming that the charitable side is the forefront, which is great, obviously, because we're raising a lot more money. And that's really the idea of it, is to get people together and have a good time. Well, we have numerous beneficiaries. As I've stated, Sale for Cancer, Turn to Starboard, we've had Rona Trust, we've had Lifeboats, Team Endeavour, we've had Glim in Antigua, we have Yachting Gives Back in Palma, we have Shambhala in Palma, we've had an ocean preservative company in Antigua, we've supported hurricane relief and rebuilding in the Bahamas. So it's quite a broad variety of charities that we support, but they're all related to the yacht industry in some way, or the sea. Not necessarily the yacht industry, but to do with the water and where yachts go.
We have 4 tenets of how we accept them as charities. Number 1, 90% of the money that they receive needs to go to the thing that they do. We don't want to be paying for executives and all the rest of it. We want to see them as volunteer-driven. Decisions being made by people like us who are volunteering to do good things, because that's real motivation and passion that people show. We need them not to be receiving government grants of any kind, local or national, because if they've got that, they don't need us. And lastly, they need to be connected with our yachting industry and the sea that we work with. So if they fit that criteria, they are a candidate beneficiary. We vet them, and then as trustees, if we've got a surfeit of them, we will select and narrow down and shortlist the ones that we feel we like the best, I guess. But that process is how we get to genuine beneficiaries. The challenges are both small and large, in as much as you can look at it one way and say, oh my goodness, how do we get money out of people? Everybody's really, really busy, and they are. And finding the moment to talk to somebody and say, would you like to be involved in this some way? Would you like to give us a great auction prize or be a sponsor or whatever? That relies on a personal connection, because when you talk to somebody one-to-one, they can see what you're talking about. They can see it in your eyes, and they start to get excited and want to be involved. So creating those moments is a challenge. On the other hand, it's not that difficult once you've got over that first hurdle. We're providing a really good thing. It is truly good value. The events are great. Sponsors really they come back to us every time and they say, this is really good value for us. So the value proposition is great. It's just having those individual human conversations, because that's what brings people in. And finding the time in our busy work lives, because we're all volunteers. All of the trustees, we're all putting our own time into this. We don't get paid for any of this. None of our ambassadors get paid for this. There's almost nothing we even claim on expenses. You know, we fly ourselves to the events. We don't put those costs onto the company and so on. So it's fitting it in around our busy days. Well, 5's a magic number. It's enough people to get a few things done, but not so many that you can never get a meeting with everybody there. It's an odd number, which means we never get a hung vote. It means that if 1 or 2 people are not available, you can still, if 3 people agree, that's still a majority. So it allows us to be agile and make swift decisions and move forward. But by having 5 trustees, we're able for each one of us to take the lead in a particular area. Usually it's leading an event. And that means that even though we act as a team, somebody is on point, and then the rest of us support that person for each of the different events.
In the early years, we had 5 trustees, but they didn't all hold an event, because we ran one event. So we would select someone who would kind of oversee it, and then the others would all be in the background helping out. And then we spread, and we started the Seafarers Supper. The Seafarers Supper was Ken's idea, and in Palmer. So, you know, he kind of took responsibility for that one. And then now we've gone into the golf. The golf was kind of my thing to push, but so I'm kind of responsible for that. We have the M3 event, which Liam Dobbin is in charge of that one, because it's local for him, and Antigua is, once again, it's mine, because probably I'm there more than the other trustees are, so it makes sense. And then in the background we have Mr. Hickling keeping an eye on all of us to make sure that we do our jobs properly and keep it on track. In the beginning, it was actually supposed to be one party, and that was it. You know, something in March, April, that we could all get together for and party, and it kind of grew all by itself. You know, as I said, Ken came up with the Palmer Seafarers Supper one, and we realised that actually went down really well the night before the show. And then others have been, you know, Pinmar decided not to do the golf, so we saw an opportunity. We had a lot of people come and ask us if we would put on an event to replace it. So in the beginning, would there ever have been 5 events? No. Would we have been a big, you know, something to look forward to on the annual calendar? Probably not. But you know, for the fact that it is great. And I think the big part of that is that people who come to our events, once they've spent their money and, you know, bought tickets and gone away, they actually wake up the next day and go, I feel really good. That was great. I've done something to help somebody, as well as the fact that they have a great night networking with everyone. But that little psychological, you know, I've done my bit to help somebody somewhere is quite a good kicker for us. So.
Rather than thinking about it as a 10-year milestone, we're looking towards a different milestone, which is a £1 million milestone. And we're well north of 800,000 already. And so over the years, we sort of earn or raise a little bit more each time. Derek and I have been here from the start. We're thinking that million is something that we're looking forward to doing, to saying we've hit it. We don't know when we're going to hit it, but it probably will be next year, which is our 10th year of operation, if you like. there is a sort of a coincidence there, but it's not that we've raised 100,000 each year. The number's growing steadily. So getting to the 2nd million for the younger trustees will probably come quicker than 10 years. If they want to know what's going on, the website is a great place to start. Follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. But also, if you want to know about events, follow us in Eventbrite. And the reason why I mentioned that is that people saying, well, I didn't know it was happening, or I forgot about it. It's like, if you follow us on Eventbrite, you will get notified. It won't rely on us remembering to tell you. And these things sell out. They're selling out weeks and weeks in advance, which again is really, really pleasing that we get that level of support. We're getting new people all the time, as in people turning up for these events that haven't been there before. So we've got a nice turnover, lots of young people coming in. The industry is very safe for the future. Lots of good people who are much younger than me, although I think almost everybody is much younger than me. But nonetheless, follow us on any of these different channels and you'll get to know what's going on.